Hey guys, my name is Sasha Martin, founder of globaltableadventure.com, and I want to talk to you about bringing the world into your kitchen. Back in 2010, my family and I cooked a meal from every single country in the world. We tried more than 650 recipes. My daughter was 7 months old at the time. My husband was extremely picky, and the experience really showed us over 4 years that there are 1,000,001 beautiful ways to prepare food and to connect with our neighbors. By the time we were done, my daughter was almost like about 4.5 years old, and my husband was no longer picky. And both of them had a great sense of connection to the world, and I'd satisfied some of my wanderlust. So, if you're interested in bringing the world into your kitchen, it doesn't necessarily have to be every single country, but there are a few tips I'd like to give you to make it easier and more fun for your family. So number one, I would say having a good attitude. This is key more than having any special cookware. Honestly, you can do a lot with just a basic pot, like a wok, a good spoon, a wooden spoon. But if you don't have a good attitude, you're going to have some trouble. So one of the things we talked about in my family, especially with my picky husband and my daughter as she grew older, was to really speak with respect at the table. You know, talk about things like if an entire country eats something, how bad can it be? And we don't need to say ugh or gross or anything like that. We always talk with respect. One of the things I used as a strategy with my family is using recipes that bridged cultures. So I wasn't interested so much as maybe some people are in the shock value of trying really extraordinarily extreme recipes. To me, it was more interesting to say, you know what, our family eats carrots and this culture eats carrots. Let's see how they prepare them. And so, for example, with Morocco, we tried a carrot salad that included fresh squeezed orange juice and cinnamon and orange blossom water. And with Mongolia, we tried a carrot salad that included garlic and salt and pepper and oil in a more vinegary dressing. This will make things, especially for your picky eaters, a lot more fun and friendly and approachable. And that gets them started. And then as they grow more confident, you can try more daring dishes. The time you'll spend with your loved ones. In modern society in the West, we tend to cook alone. We tend to use our microwaves, get through it as fast as we can. Okay, an entire industry of takeout has been created in order to make it easier for us to not have to cook. But if you're bringing the world into your kitchen, it is really important to take the time to not just eat the food together around the table, but to prepare the food together in the kitchen. There are incredible experiences that happen when you cook together as a family, and we see it across the world. Cultures, if you think about making empanadas in South America, right? And you're doing it, everybody's rolling out the dough and you're filling one after another. Same thing with ravioli in Italy, hand-pulled noodles in parts of Asia, pounding cassava in sub-Saharan Africa. All that time, that slow process of cooking together invites conversation and community, and it's a really incredible experience when you bring that part of cooking the world to your family. One thing that will happen, I almost guarantee, is at least for us, when we did our global table adventure, we ended up with an amazing spice collection. While I admit and believe that you really shouldn't have to spend a lot of money cooking the world, you will be in all likelihood trying new spices. So what I did as a strategy was to buy in bulk, because when you pay for the jar, you end up spending a lot more money, and you can actually get a baggie of oregano or cinnamon for less than $1. I mean, like sometimes 30 cents. So this is something I would try. And then if you find yourself using the spice a lot more frequently, then you can go ahead and invest in a little bit greater supply. But spices are at their peak for about 6 months after purchasing them, after grind, especially if they've already been ground. So you want to keep this in mind. You don't want to have a huge supply of something and in a couple of years use it. It doesn't have a lot of flavor. I use, as my collection grew, I decided to use my 2 drawers by the stove to store the spices. And I keep them in what's called a French square spice jar. And these don't spin. So I labeled the top of the jar. They won't spin because they're square, and I can see at all times what I have. One jar is for ground spices. Oh, one drawer is for ground spices, and one drawer is for whole spices. And that works really well for me. Now, another item that you can get, which is right behind me, is a world map or some kind of globe. This is really helpful because at some point or other, your child or husband or partner will say, "Where is this? What are we eating? What's happening?" And so I grew up having a map in the same room as the table. And this was a kind of logical thing for us. We ended up using gemstone stickers to mark the countries we'd eaten along the way. So at night, this map is really fun. It sparkles and twinkles in the light. But yeah, and having some sort of map, even a small one that you can print off, will be a great tool as you have your dinner time conversations. So once you have those, let me see what else we have. Really, everything else is icing on the cake. You can get a spice grinder, which is just really a coffee grinder that you keep only for spices. That will allow you to try some new recipes. Again, not required. You can get things like tagines. You can get comals. Really, keeping in mind that it's not about having a bunch of clutter. A little story I would tell you is that when I started cooking the world, I had a lot of accessories in my kitchen. And as I saw how different people around the world cooked and ate, I realized that a lot of it was unnecessary. And it was probably by the time I hit the B countries, I began eliminating. Got rid of my microwave, got rid of my bread machine, my toaster. Don't get me wrong, I still have some appliances. I have a mixer, I have a blender, but I just realized that a lot of that stuff gets in the way, I'd rather be bumping elbows with family than with junk in my kitchen. So take that for what it is. As you cook the world, if you're looking for some sort of connection and community, I invite you to reach out. I'm always available to answer questions. I even have a 45-page starter guide on my website. You can go to globaltableadventure.com/welcome. At the bottom of that page, there's a link to download the starter guide, and it'll give you tips and tricks more than I was able to mention today about helping your picky eaters. It'll give you ideas and strategies for cooking the world. I went A to Z. There's other possibilities there. There's also a pact that you can have picky eaters in your family sign, downloadable passport book, all kinds of things. I just want to make it as fun and as easy as possible for you, and that's totally free. Also, if you are into Instagram, feel free to say hello with #GlobalTableAdventure. It's a really neat community, people sharing their feasts. It can be really inspiring to see other people trying new things, especially I heard from a lot of people that when I had videos of my daughter trying things, that they would show it to their children. And so encouraging each other as a community can be really fun. Anyway, I hope some of this was helpful, and I encourage you on your journey to bring the world into your kitchen. It will really be a remarkable experience for your family, and I wish you all the best on your global table adventure.